Ashley,
Yes.
the event, the one night only event for the Vampire Lestat,
Yes.
its doors have now been closed to those who would seek tickets.
That's right. It lasted for a day and a half. I was like, fuck me. We were all up in a group chat, a bunch of us, like losing our fucking minds, trying to help each other through our tech problems we were having because some of us are old, the olds, trademark, and it was just fucking hilarious. And then, like, I got on there the next day and I was like, assholes you can still sign up for this? It's gonna be a fucking miracle, Joel.
Yeah,
But
yes. Okay. We will talk more about the specifics of the event after the event has happened because there are too many of us that are potentially waiting on tickets. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. Let's just cross our fingers and hope. However, we do have words about the way that this was all put together. I do want to say this, though. I have noticed something in the fine print that I don't remember hearing previous to reading this the other day on their flyer. The event will be filmed. The event on June 2nd will be filmed. You have to give your permission when you sign up for the ticket lottery to have your likeness captured by AMC and used for promotional purposes. Now, okay. Who knows? Like, who will be able to actually get in? Who knows?
Hopefully at least one of our sweet, sweet Coven is in there having the time of their fucking lives.
But see, that's my thing is like, I don't believe that it took 2 days to get 2,800 entries because if that's true, then
There's
I know
no way in hell
150 of the craziest people as far as the Lestat fandom goes. And I know a lot of them, but I don't believe I know the actual top 150 craziest. And that would be the statistics if it took 2 days to get 2,800 entries. Anyway,
that's bonkers.
Regardless, AMC is not always the best at putting these sorts of things out quickly, so I would not count on, for instance, this being available before the series starts.
They took so long to even do, like, Comic-Con.
Think about San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Forever we waited for that.
They film it in, like, July. We got it in September the last 2 years. So, I mean, that's too long.
It is entirely too long. They make us wait so long between seasons as it is.
Yes, but I do think, though, for those of you who knew the travel was out of your realm of possibility or who didn't make it in time to apply for your tickets, even if you thought, well, maybe I could swing the travel, regardless, I do think we'll be able to see and experience this event for ourselves eventually. Funny enough, I'm sure part of it will be a big blacked out screen as AMC doesn't show us whatever they show on the projection screen like they did for Comic-Con. But regardless,
when I got on the website and I started like looking around in it, I realized this is the same company that handles ticketing for like late night talk shows and daytime talk shows and things like that. So it sort of makes sense why it's set up the way it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure they also like, I think it came together. First of all, if it had come together earlier, I think they would have announced it earlier and it would have been more formalized in some fashion. I think this thing came together late and there was not confidence about what the desire was to travel or whatever. I think that's the way it was set up, why it was.
Man.
Strange, regardless. We're all going to think happy thoughts.
A bunch of us are damn willing to get on an overpriced flight and stay in a very overpriced hotel to have a potentially crazy night.
I've personally talked to so many middle-aged women who were like, yep, sign me up for a shared hostel room for one night. I'm going to fly in and out of New York City. So anyway, AMC, I'm just saying.
If I get a ticket, I'm going to have 2 of them. And I will, and if anybody else in the Coven is there, we will have a bit of a slumber party or at least drinks.
Man. Listen, I'm saying AMC, Sam, if you want to make a little change in the off season, take this bad boy on the road.
Man, we would turn up because we are fucking nuts. I mean, even if it's just the same fucking people buying tickets to the entire tour, because I could see people doing that shit.
What do you think the Grateful Dead has done for 4 decades, Ashley?
Right?
Yes, it's the same ticket buyers.
It's all the same. Dave Matthews Band. We're all at the same fucking concert. every time.
I said 4 decades. I was like, Dave Matthews has done it for 4 decades now, almost. Like, not.
Yeah.
All right.
That's that same mindset that makes you go, the 80s, that was like 20 years ago.
It was 20 years ago. Yeah.
No, not anymore, kids.
Welcome to the Articulate Coven, the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal Universe. The Articulate Coven is Ashley and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join.
We are the Articulate Coven, the original unofficial fan podcast for Anne Rice's Immortal Universe. We're your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Folks, done and dusted 2 seasons of interview. Rewatched for you, my friends.
This episode
it's a hell of a show.
Fucking good.
It's so good.
Jacob is so amazing in this episode. He's just and I mean, so is Sam. They're just so and Asa. They're just all so fucking good in this episode. And I mean, in Bogosian, like I can't leave anybody out. I'm like, fuck, everybody's so on point in this ending here.
Broad strokes, I'll say this. After the episode was done, Judah and I were talking for a little bit, and I was explaining how, in my mind, the one thing that a book purist could point at and say, well, there's nothing of Louis to be found in that. Mm-hmm. Might be that final monologue,
that end,
the Eye on the Night, right?
Yeah.
However,
it
does. I think if you speed run the books, you and I just finished Prince Lestat recently, for instance, in our book club episodes on the show. And there's a scene at the end of that novel where Louis is sort of just happens along a guy who's going to break in and rob the place where the vampires all happen to be. This guy doesn't know he's breaking into a vampire's house.
It's a really bad choice for a burglar. Bad house pick, man.
Right?
You did not case that joint closely enough.
But Louis dispatches him in that scene, and then there's also like a reunion right before that or right after that with Lestat where they have a moment, and the wholeness of Louis that we find in that final trilogy, the complete nature of his character after all the things that he goes through in the interim books in little fragments, it feels like we effectively get a speed run of that by this being the second interview, right? Like all of the unraveling of Louis's recent past through this interview with Danielle gives Louis all of those character beats that he gets in the novel and later novels, which I guess means that Rowling gets to do whatever the fuck he wants to with Louis from now on, which is cool.
He kind of has. I remember, the scene that sticks out in that last book we read to me is when he goes and gets Rose, when he goes and rescues Rose. I just am like, that is the badass that we see at the end of this episode. And I think too, after what he says to Lestat, when he says, I thought I didn't know it was a gift, and he apologizes and he's like, I'm gonna live this life now. And so I think that is showing his true determination to follow through with that, in the same way that he said to Claudia, I won't go into the fire as long as you're around. This is that same thing. I said, I'm going to live it life hard. And here we go, kids.
Yeah. So Judah clocked the new title card image. He didn't immediately recognize the New Orleans skyline. And I was so disappointed. Like, the city of your birth, son.
Well, you better make damn sure Nola knows what that skyline looks
right? Like, listen, if you see a giant dome in the middle,
it's New Orleans.
That's New Orleans.
If everything's kind of squatty, not a lot of variety.
Yeah, you got to really hunt to find a skyscraper. We do have lovely architecture, though.
It's beautiful.
Man, okay. I mentioned this previously on our original episode about this episode, and I didn't mention it to Judah because I didn't want to call attention or spoil anything for him. However, we see Nicholas de l'Enfant 1769 to 1795, written on a coffin in the opening of this episode. But what's in the coffin, Ashley? Nicholas burned himself in the books anyway.
Maybe
the people in the
maybe they kept his hands.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. But see, those were reattached in the books
I know.
too.
I don't know.
I'm a little worried about that. I mean, maybe it was just an Easter egg and it's nothing, but I don't think that's not what Rowling does as a general rule.
Yeah. Someone that smart as a storyteller is not putting something out there that means that much without intention.
Louis says when he's talking about being in the coffin for days on it, which, by the way, it's hard for me to understand exactly how long he's stuck in that coffin. It's longer than it is in the film version for sure.
100%.
I think it's longer than it is in the book too.
The book too.
Basically happens overnight, I think.
Yeah, it feels like all of that is like just a rolling, like, roller coaster about to go right off the rails and crash. That's how that whole last section of that book feels when I think of it, you know. So it does feel like, but this is his ass got to the starvation point, you know. He had been there a while, and they had been fucking with Armand and messing with him the entire time.
But then after that, I had sort of forgotten about this part of it. Louis spends quite a while planning once he's out as well.
Yeah.
Like, so long that Armand is like, hey, why don't you fuck off?
You need to go, buddy. You need to go. Go on and get. This is not a cool town anymore. This theater's not fun anymore. When
Armand
theater stops being fun, it's time to fucking quit.
Armand hasn't learned the lesson of Louis de Pointe-de-Lac, though. Before he leaves town,
he
will burn your house down.
Shit. Yeah, he's gonna burn some shit down. That's my guy. That's my favorite. It's one of my favorite things he does. I just think it's deliciously hilarious because he's just so like maudlin, and yet he chooses such a vibrant form of destruction.
Man, the way he asks, does anyone ever ask Lazarus if he wanted to be woken? Okay. On the one hand, Louis passive as a motherfucker, ain't he? He didn't want to become a vampire, didn't want to live, didn't want to kill Lestat, didn't want to fight the Coven.
Doesn't want to eat people.
Yeah, like, okay, well, what do you want to do?
He wants to take photographs and
pretend to be human.
Yes, that's all that man was looking for. Bless his heart. No, he's such a mess. God bless him.
On the flip side, though, like, I understand what was left to endure for? Claudio was dead.
Yeah.
And
he's
been betrayed by Armand. At this point, he doesn't know that Armand is the reason why he doesn't know in this moment
how deep
why he
the
was
betrayal
saved.
was.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But he knows he got screwed, and Claudia was the price for it, you know. Meanwhile, he's been in this fucking coffin, starving to death, and going batshit crazy, you know, like just bonkers. I forgot how manic and wild he is in that scene in the crypt, where he's planning. I had forgotten how intense that was. Like, that was wild.
Judah was so shocked by this turn. He did not expect Louis to lose his damn mind in this way. And as like the bodies begin to pile up in the corner, and then the bodies come back and start speaking. Yeah, he was like, "Whoa, okay." But there was this great moment though. Louis is still in the coffin, and he's like just beginning to wake up. And modern day Louis says something to the effect of, "I had died, but my rage had risen." And Judah sits up on the couch and goes, "Oh, okay." He was convinced that it was Lestat or maybe Armand that burns the theater down. Maybe both of them together attacked all the vampires and freed Louis. So when he realizes that Louis is going to be the engine for this destruction all on his own, he was like, "Oh, okay."
Man on fucking fire, kids. We're about to watch some really delicious revenge.
Yes,
And
this is
the
the end of
music
lots of Denzel Washington movies right now.
the music is so fucking fantastic. It
It's
is
very good.
so great. I mean, it feels like it's got like kind of a film noir vibe to it that's just crazy. Oh, I just fucking love this vengeance upon this theater.
You know, in the novels, Lestat talks a lot about the reason he has a modern accent
Mhm.
is because he reads Sam Spade novels
Yes,
and
yes.
watches a bunch of Sam Spade movies and like Humphrey Bogart movies and stuff like that. He loves detective stuff. And that's what this felt like. This felt like Lestat's rewrite of
Yeah.
Louis' destruction of the theater,
Yeah, it
playing
was
with the great
it
soundtrack.
felt very Dick Tracy to me too, like that
Yeah,
kind of vibe. I loved it. I just loved it. He's such a badass motherfucker and he's so determined and it's just nice cuz he's just been so fucking apathetic and not even like participating in his own life on any level and for in so many ways and the fact that he goes after this task with such determination and I think a little underlying glee.
well, there's no doubt that as it escalates and as he becomes more and more successful in his revenge efforts,
Mhm.
he comes out of his madness
Mhm.
and more back to himself. Like when he walks away from Lestat in Magnus's tower, it's not defeated because he and Armand decide they can't burn Lestat down. It's like, I actually don't need to kill you
Yeah.
again. I've
You know
done
what would
it
be
once
great?
already.
It's gonna be really nice for you to sit around and think, "I'm with this asshole that you fucking hate. We're together forever." That's like such a fucking hilarious card to play on Lestat,
Okay,
particularly.
let's jump up to that for just a second because that was another thing. Um, all right, I want to go. We'll go back in a second, but
Okay.
uh, yeah, they're there in Magnus's tower, and they both light up their hands, and Lestat says, "I have the blood of Akasha in me," and then he doesn't know who
He
that
doesn't know what
is.
that means. He doesn't know who that is.
um, okay. First of all, Judah got a big kick out of that, even though Judah didn't know who
Yeah,
Akasha is either.
right.
But when Louis says, "Here's your death, Lestat," and then they make out, Judah says, "That is so messy. It's just a group of exes taking turns kissing each other in the same room together. Ugh."
Feels like college.
Okay. Lestat says, "Let's see how long it holds."
Mm.
And Daniel, God bless him, immediately goes, "What do you think you meant by that, Louis?" And Louis like, he didn't think the relationship would last. Daniel's like, "Oh,
Mm.
that's what you think. That's what you think it means. It's interesting. It's interesting. Hmm.
He's so
Not the
fucking great.
mind control that he placed on you
Mhm.
77 years ago. Perhaps he
Perhaps
placed it
that.
longer than that."
Perhaps that. Mayhaps. Maybe our fellow was using a magic love potion to start with.
Okay.
My God.
To go back slightly though, the way he picks apart Santiago is so fucking. First of all,
Oh.
Ben Daniels is great in the sewers. React like he has nothing to act to in
Yeah,
this
he's
in
just
this episode at all,
in a
basically.
tunnel by himself.
With no dialogue almost either, right?
Yeah.
Other than the one line about jerking off with the ashes,
Oh,
which is like,
God.
Jesus Christ.
It's one of the most fucked up things I've ever heard anyone say. And it's so Santiago, it's so on point
Yes.
for that douchebag.
But it goes to show you though, like how we can genuinely have great villains at so many different levels. Like
Mhm.
what was it I was okay, I was watching an episode of Dark Shadows today, and Barnabas is dealing with the individual other characters like in exactly the language that they want to hear. One
Mhm.
wants to hear about family aspirations, one wants to hear about fortune, one wants to hear about loving the countryside or something like that, right? And so he just approaches everybody with just the right honey tongue. okay, Hannibal in so many ways, like even as he disdains you and thinks less of you, can pick you apart, and it all sounds so pleasing and wonderful to you, right? He literally makes people come and have dinner and eat his victims on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah. He served a guy his own brain.
Santiago is like the opposite end of the spectrum. He's all performance and smash, and he must know. Part of him must know that Louis is baiting him. Louis is not on tilt right now. Louis's plan has gone perfectly, and you're literally running through the sewer.
Yeah.
And yet you can't help but push him over the edge or try to with this Claudia bullshit. It's like,
yeah.
Hannibal would never, was my point, I guess, mostly.
No, he is, I would say Santiago does not have a good, steady hold on his emotional regulation.
Good, steady hold is the wrong terminology, Ashley.
No! Here's something that could help him with that. Turn a fucking therapist into a vampire, like I keep saying.
Seriously.
Santiago could work on his anger issues, and maybe he wouldn't have gotten his head cut off at the end.
When he comes out of that sewer, though, and Louis not there, and then he's right behind him, boom, cuts him in half. Judah goes, oh!
So quick, like you think it's going to be a fight. You think they're going to have a fight, and it's just not.
It's not a fight. I love, and first of all, like it's so early in the episode, too. And that's all resolved, right? You're like, oh shit, Paris is over.
Yeah, what the fuck else are we gonna do? You know, like that's the end of the story. They're even like in session. You know, like
even after you have the scene with Magnus and Magnus's tower and Lestat and everything, like even then you're like, there's 25 or 30 minutes left in this episode. What are we gonna? There's so much to get to, but
there's so
Santiago.
Much.
I love the fact that Santiago is dispatched like that because it is a reminder that like he is not the center of this story.
Yeah.
He's not even the antagonist, really. He is a side quest that the NPCs gave us that we could have avoided, honestly, at various...
Completely avoided at various intervals. We could have we might not have gotten to 100% completion, but 99
you still would have gotten the good ending. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just I just give Ben Daniels his flowers because what a turnaround I've had on that character. And I even think the next time I read that book, I'm gonna have a better time with that character. He's such a piece of shit. What a performance.
So when Rashid comes to the table and gives Daniel a newspaper that he obviously didn't. Daniel's poker face is so bad here. He's like, the newspaper you requested. What? Oh, yeah, the newspaper. I mean, effectively, that's the way he looks there. It's so brilliant. But I paused it and I asked Judah, I said, okay, what is in that newspaper? Is it just the newspaper? And he goes, no, he brought him something. Judah says he brought Daniel something to keep him safe. And I was like, okay. All right, that would have been helpful. That is not what is in there.
It is something that's going to make him very unsafe, actually. Oh, this move is so brilliant that he thinks of that and thinks to ask for that,
Okay, it's not just brilliant, but it's so bold. We've talked about him. I mean, we know that Daniel doesn't want to die, but at the same time, he's come so far. He's unearthed so much, and it seems like Louis maybe gonna let it peter out.
Yeah, right.
He's gonna send him home and pay him my money, and like that's gonna be it. Armand's gonna get away with it all.
Yes, and this guy's fucked with me and has been fucking with me this whole time. Fuck this guy. Like I really do think he's like, fuck Armand. I'm gonna fuck this guy up on my way out of town.
In state houses all across the country, as we're recording this on a Friday night, all across the country this week, in Tennessee and North Carolina and Louisiana and Alabama, state houses are trying to use the recent Supreme Court decision, Louisiana versus Calais, to just decimate voting rights for minorities, particularly African Americans across this country. And in Baton Rouge, at least today, a bunch of my friends and a bunch of people I know from across the state were down there giving them what for. And I don't know how today's not going to be the end of it in any of these places, but
no.
Somebody shared the famous clip from the 60s from the civil rights fight where the guy talks about there comes a time where we have to throw ourselves on the gears of the machine and ensure if we're not going to be heard, then this machine doesn't work anymore. This is that moment. Daniel decides, okay, if I die, I die, but I'm going to make sure that we get to the bottom of this
relationship before.
Well, not just that, but I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to make sure that Armand knows that he knows. I'm going to figure out what else there is hidden. We're going to unbuckle all of this.
I do think it's important to him too, with his where he is as a human being in his life. He's sick. He's not at his best. This is a real opportunity for him to get one last big win,
Man, okay. Armand either is so fucking autistic he just can't help but be straightforward all the time, I guess, or is such a manipulative, duplicitous bastard, and it's one or the others. I'm not sure. Maybe it's some of both. He loved you. I can say that now. He loved you a great deal. Fuck you, Armand. Oh, you lying bastard. And I know I say that as a Lestat apologist, but still,
he's a withholding, manipulative partner. This is not an okay guy.
He loved you. I'm big enough to say that now. Oh, you short motherfucker.
You're fucking old. What the hell? You've been old. What are you doing?
Judah said that earlier. Honestly, I'd just get out. I'd just go do something else. And I thought he meant Louis. Why would Louis continue this facade with Armand? I'd just leave. I'd just take my money and leave. But what he actually meant was Armand. He's like, why would Armand spend 70 years convincing Louis of this? You could just make another vampire, or there's got to be at least a few hundred of them. Go find another one.
Yeah.
Why this particular one? Why this level of manipulation?
You could go find anyone. You know a lot of vampires, actually, turns out. You could just go find one of your old buddies. Bianca's still around. Marius
you used
to
boss a bunch of them. Come on.
You used to, yeah.
I guess he did kill quite a lot.
I guess
of them,
most of those died.
That's fair.
Armand.
Point taken.
Maybe he's killed most of the vampires he's known, and this is the only guy he can tolerate. I don't know. It's so much of it's so much of that control too that we talk about the sub and dom, dub and som. Christ, sub and dom. God, what is wrong with me? That sub and dom kind of relationship they have, and it always seemed like Louis was the dom, Yeah. And in this, you realize that the entire time it's been Armand, literally, because of the fact that he's just had this control over him. So he's just getting off on this the whole time too.
He tops from the bottom, Ashley.
He tops from the bottom.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
He does. Face down from the bottom.
That's right. Close off. You can read it to me while we fuck. Okay. Daniel's follow-up questions before he even breaks out the script. He's like, first of all, Joel Sharpton had some questions about the tractor salesman in season 1.
Yes, this is something that's been bothering us since season 1.
I paused it and talked to Judah. I was like, listen, I'm sure Rollin wrote that in with this scene in mind. However, I made a big stink about it after episode 2, and personally, I like to think Rollin was like, well, I got an answer for you, motherfucker.
You just wait. Calm down. That's why they don't. You know what? It was that episode that we talked about. That's the reason why AMC won't invite us to anything.
That's why we can't go, Ashley. That's right. When you don't get into New York, it's because I threw a fit about episode 2.
Probably has nothing to do with the fact.
It's so funny, too, in retrospect, that I caused a bigger stink about that than when Lestat dropped Louis from the sky. I was like, no, listen, they might have a point with that one. No, you can't mind read after you turn somebody.
That is not the way this works.
Oh, man. Okay. Vampire Sam, he asks about what happened to Vampire Sam. We find out Vampire Sam's a DJ now.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, VSB, Agent VSB is what we see on the script, by the way, Vampire Sam Barkley. Then he says, how many soldiers were in the house that night when Lestat mindfucks them all and sends them home? Were there 10? 30. There were 30 soldiers. Okay, interesting. Okay, and about that time, there is a sharp piano note that's played, and Judah leaned forward and he goes, Daniel, you son of a gun, you've done it again. He loved it. He loved it. Okay. What, and I know we've talked about this, but it's one of the biggest questions to me that remains. I hope we hear the answer in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
What did they have prepared special for Daniel in the other room before this all goes to hell?
For the
we have something
fancy
special
dinner?
prepared for you, Daniel.
God.
Is it the cure to his disease? Were they planning on turning him? Like, is it just a big pile of money? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But shit went real sideways. So if we're going to find out, they're going to have to tell us. No, it didn't seem great. It doesn't seem like that's going to be a real fun dinner.
No, it would have been a very awkward dinner if it had continued. Okay, we get the rewrite of the play a little bit. You have no idea of Claudia's strength. I love it when Lestat defends her there.
I do love that. I did love that very much. Sam is so incredible in this version of this scene, and seeing the rehearsals and the way he deals with Santiago is just fucking hilarious. You know, it's just but he is so fantastic. And I do love that he stood up for Claudia, and that makes the moment at the end of this episode so much more poignant when he's talking about, you know, and when Louis confronts him in, I guess it's in Magnus's tower, and he says, "You killed your daughter. Like you killed your
traveled
daughter.
Across the ocean to rehearse a play to burn your daughter alive.
To kill your daughter."
Yeah.
And oh, goddamn. The Claudia of it all. The Claudia of it all.
I mean, I still think Lestat didn't know how it would all go. I still think Lestat didn't know how it would all go. He was not complicit, is my point. Not 100%. I think there were things that he could have done. Even in this version, there are things that he could have done.
In this version, he's much less complicit. In this version, even within this show, but in this version of the show, compared to the book, he's less complicit too, because he's much more complicit in the book.
Yeah, I mean, he shows up to put them on trial in the book, because he's like, well, although in his rewrite of it, he shows up to beg for blood, and Armand's like, well, we've got to put him. You've got to come clean that they tried to kill you and put him on trial. Yes,
so
exactly.
Let's do that. You know. Yeah. And so he is just automatically less complicit because they called him. They were like, buddy, you want to come over here and burn your daughter? And he was like, bet, let's go.
Sure. Man, okay. When Daniel calls Armand out to finally push Louis over the edge on this whole thing, he didn't witness the play. He directed the play. I love Eric Bogosian's accusations. His accusations are so fucking on point. When he does his, well, actually, yes.
Yes.
Oof.
It is just the perfect tone, because you feel like that's a man who would definitely tell you what's up. You know, it just is and I think that's probably him as a person too, you know?
Yeah, well, we see it in interviews, honestly. Yes, absolutely. Okay, but at that moment, though, the way that Armand turns and looks at him, Judah from the other end of the couch, please don't kill Daniel. Please don't kill Daniel.
He's so dangerous.
And from then on, the way the rest of that scene takes place, it's genuinely some of the scariest stuff in the whole show. Is because it's all off screen and you don't know where this is going to go, and Daniel is lost and what's going to happen, and
well, it's it's own in its own version. It's a replay of the Louis Lestat fight and Claudia, and Claudia being there,
which again, it's like young Louis fucking picking a fight with an ancient vampire and tossing him around a house.
Look, listen, I would fuck up Armand at this point. Like, if you think we're not coming to blows, we're coming to blows, friend. And I'm going to get you a little crispy around the edges, too, because I like fire. I would not, as a woman who is 47 years old and does not have time for that kind of bullshit, your ass is grass, friend. Done. I'd pick this fight, too. That's all I'm saying, Louis. I got your back.
I don't think you're wrong. So, Hurricane Odette is coming into town as Louis makes his way into New Orleans.
That conversation with that cab driver, too, or
it's cute.
That rideshare driver is just like rolling into New Orleans. Yes. It's just, I love it.
They immediately start telling you about their gumbo business.
All I need is for a woman to say, "Thank you, baby," and I'm set for the fucking next 6 months.
Okay. Louis is in the same hotel that the Mayfairs use in season 1. For the record, I think it's the Pontchartrain is what they call it on the show anyway.
Yeah, the Pontchartrain.
Yeah. If you didn't watch Mayfair Witches, that hotel has a big part to play in season 1. So that was our little crossover from the Mayfairs.
Thank God that was all.
I know, right? Well, there's one more that crosses over the Mayfairs.
We do have one more.
The other way around. Judah was laughing his ass off, though, at the tour stop at the house, at the town. First of all, if there was an actual hurricane, there wouldn't be a tour going on that night either. Even the tour guides close up shop.
Didn't seem to be raining on them very hard.
No, either. So we hear Sebastian Melmoth, which is a nickname that Lestat uses, sometimes an alias that he uses in different times in the books. But they eventually use his name right. They say, they said Sebastian Melmoth, but actually we believe it was Lestat de Lyon. He mispronounces it, but he does give his name. However, I just want to point out, and it didn't occur to me, I don't think, in previous viewings, we name Lestat, but it's a local Creole hustler and his little child bride. The people of color do not have names, Ashley, in the history. Imagine that.
Shocking.
Nameless people of color remembered the names of the white men. Tom Anderson. They remembered Tom Anderson, too.
Remember Tom, of all people.
Yeah. Okay, but I want to point out we had tense piano playing in the Dubai penthouse. Here in New Orleans, the piano playing is gentle as we go to the townhouse.
Yes.
Okay, and there is our extra Mayfair connection. This vampire that is catching rats for Lestat, he appeared in season 2 of Mayfair Witches, I believe. Yeah. Very briefly in like one long scene with Lasher.
About milk, I'm sure.
Okay. Lestat says, but he is an excellent rat catcher. I was like, okay, man. First of all, that's a little snippy. Like, Louis coming in. I guess he was still in his guard. Like, he thought Louis was coming to fuss at him or talk about how low he looks or whatever. I don't know. But
he can't read his mind.
Judah was shocked by how low Lestat is here. He goes, "Ooh, this is real low for Lestat."
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's got an
piano
iPad. That's what he said. He's got an iPad and a wooden carved piano. Okay, Louis says, "I'm companion enough for myself now." When Lestat asks, "Is your companion okay with you being here or whatever?" And I think that's what that's what I was talking about earlier when we talk about Louis at the end of this season, like having speed run, whatever, the parts of his character journey in the novels that get him to a happy, healthy completion. Like, Lestat has several arcs through the novels because most of them are about him. Louis gets an arc in one novel that ends abruptly when the guy he's trying to give his story to doesn't understand it as Louis wanted it to be understood. And then he goes away and is a side character in Lestat's various adventures. It's so much more satisfying, particularly because I'm sure they were like, Jacob may ask for $1 bajillion and we may not be able to use him as much as we want to in the future, et cetera, right? Here we go. Complete, full, convincing, happy story, resolution, whatever.
And I think too, if you're going into that second season, knowing that you're going to make a big shift in the third season, rename the show, that sort of thing, it does make sense to kind of give it a good kind of a tie in a bow sort of finished feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they leave everything wide open for what's going to happen next, but like it does feel like a satisfying ending to a really good story.
And I was struck this time, it is conciliatory. It is reconciliation, but it is not really romantic. What happens here? It's congratulatory and it's an understanding and acceptance of one another in a full way, but like they don't make out.
No,
for instance,
it's an act of kindness for
both
other.
of them. The way that
it is an act of kindness to one another to have this moment, to acknowledge what was misunderstood, to acknowledge what was done, and to be able to like have this moment together of understanding and clarity. And it was a kindness for Louis to go there. And it was a kindness of Lestat to be receptive,
And for Lestat to like immediately turn it around as soon as he realized what this conversation was, for him to immediately go to Louis and ask him about 73.
And he knew the date and time. Like,
did you hurt yourself?
Oh God, the way he says that just fucking guts me.
Me too, man.
Guts me. Oh, so beautiful. What a fucking actor. And also,
I'm genuinely
that's quite Lestat in a way, like he has that passion and that love and that need to express it, Oh.
And also the need to cover his own sensibilities and vulnerabilities too. Like he says, Louis asks, why didn't you tell me it was you and not Armand that saved me? I don't like to point out my virtues. Besides, I knew you would figure it out. And look, I was right. You did. Okay. Siri pause made Judah laugh out loud. That he guffawed from the other end of the couch.
I laughed again out loud when we hit that point on this. That tickles me every time.
I didn't know it was a gift. First of all, it's perfect for Louis. It is the problem that Louis has in the novels for so long. He doesn't realize he's been given a gift. He only sees the downside of it. We've talked about that. Like, nobody's life is rosy, right? Nobody's life is perfect. Everyone has pitfalls. The rain falls on us all, et cetera, et cetera. Ashley, as you and I record this today, I just got back from visitation. A young man, a family friend, 24 years old, died in a car accident.
It's awful.
Terrible, had brain injuries, passed away, thankfully, without a long suffering, was able to be an organ donor, saved a lot of lives. Tremendous blessing in the middle of a tremendous tragedy. But like, that none of that family asked for that in any way. They didn't do anything. They have done everything right in all the ways that you could think of, anyway. Fucking horror and tragedy falls into every life. And our outlook on it is, in fact, all that your response to things is all that we can control as individuals. And that goes for whatever particular cosmology you believe in.
And I don't think Louis saw life as a gift when he was alive either.
That's what I'm saying. It's more than just the blood.
Never seen life and living as a gift. And he's at a place now where he does, and that is an incredible fucking thing.
That is it.
There's a damn mosquito in here. Fucking Arkansas. Sorry, y'all.
No, man. Okay. We got a I guess it was like a fruit fly, like one fruit fly in the house
Oh,
the other day. And
fucking
it
gnats.
was driving me crazy, man. Yes.
Mm.
Um, okay. We get the resolution where we don't hear their words anymore as the hurricane surrounds them and then things go away. Bing, bang, boom. We flip to the, local news storyline where Daniel is appearing to promote his book. Judah got such a kick out of this as it started to roll. He's enjoying the repartee back and forth. I keep wondering, I'm like, okay,
When's he
notice?
gonna notice?
Is he gonna see? He didn't get it until he's outside and he takes off his glasses. When Daniel took off the glasses, and then he almost immediately mentions his maker too. Judah just roared. He was so excited that Daniel finally got the blood. Yeah. Okay.
Me too, Judah. I feel the same
He
fucking
wasn't.
way.
He wasn't exactly surprised that it was Armand. He's like, he's talking about Armand, right? I'm like, yes. However, he doesn't understand. He doesn't have the devil's minion context for it, right? And so, which I was sort of surprised. I kind of thought, I mean, he's a very online kid. I thought, surely you've seen all the memes, right? But I guess he just thought it was all like, people like zaddies, people like an age gap or whatever.
And they're just shipping these guys. I don't know if that's what the kids still say.
When I explained to him, I was like, hey, so in the original novel, Daniel doesn't have a name. He's just called the boy. And then he doesn't appear in the Vampire Lestat at all because Lestat didn't do an interview with him, right? He goes, yeah. And I go, okay, but in the third book, we get a bunch of people's information about like what they were doing during the second book and then what they were doing while things go awry in the third book. I said, and one of the things that we get is we get the story of Daniel Malloy finally. He gets a name for the first time, and it turns out that when he left the interview, Louis was like, I'm going to bite you, but he doesn't kill him. And then Louis leaves. And then Daniel's like, I know, I'll go find Lestat. But he can't find Lestat, Judah. Who do you think he finds instead? And he goes, Armand? And I go, yep. I said, so Judah, here's what you don't know. This is an age gap romance. This is an age gap romance, except it's an age gap in both fucking directions, actually.
Right.
Armand looks like a boy and Daniel is an old man, but Daniel is 600 years younger than Armand is. So he goes,
wrap your head around that shit.
Yeah, he was super excited. He's like, man, okay. He is very excited, though, that they seem to be, and he hasn't seen any of the trailers yet. This week, actually, I'm planning on he and I watching, like, the teaser trailer that starts with Louis and Daniel in the restaurant.
Yes.
And then I want to watch that scene where Lestat calls Louis. I'm going to show him that one, too. Because he was asking himself, that was one of his big questions, is like, okay, I don't know that Lestat and Louis are like together, but Louis around in the third season, I'm guessing, right? But like, why would Lestat feel like he needs to become a rock star all of a sudden? Seems like things go badly for them. And I'm like, well, does he know about this book? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm super excited to see all of that with him. This series, if this had been all we ever got, though, genuinely,
what a gift.
It would have been a tremendous gift.
Yeah.
Here's what I realized, though, this week, Ashley, and maybe I've thought about it in this way before, but I don't know that I had articulated it in exactly this way. I didn't fall in love with Interview with a Vampire. I fell in love with the prologue of Tale of the Body Thief. The Vampire Lestat introduces himself and explains his adventures thus far. That's the character. That's the story that I fell in love with. And then I went back and read this book, and they said, oh, they're making a movie. And I thought, oh my God, Tom Cruise is going to be in it. They're going to make a dozen of these. It's going to go forever. We got new books all the time for several years after that. Ashley, for 33 years, they have been teasing me not adapting my favorite book in this series. And on June 7th, it's going to be here.
Lo and behold. It's going to be wonderful. I'm so excited. I love how, like, pumped everybody is getting for the premiere. Everybody's so fucking excited. AMC is doing a really good job of like teasing out merch every few days. We get some new merch, some real cute shit hit today.
I am so jealous of it's the VL logo, but the VL logo has been bitten through.
And that.
I
love the one with
that one's great.
Like the pierced tongue. Like, is that?
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about. I was thinking it was bitten. Yeah, it's not bitten through. It's got a pierced tongue. Yes.
Yeah, I love that one. So great.
That one's my favorite for sure.
Oh yes, there is a lot to enjoy, including a jean jacket with Lestat on the back.
There's a cute crop top.
Yeah,
like
couple of cute crop tops.
Okay, here's a little reminder of what the schedule is coming up. Next week, we are going to talk about the 1994 film Interview with the Vampire.
That's next
and
week. I'm
series.
So excited.
That's next week. Me too. We're going to talk about that film. We're going to talk about the series overall so far with Judah. He's going to be on the show with us. I'm very excited about that too. Speaking of Judah, this last week we did signing for his scholarship awards and awards day for him at school, which was lots of fun. He's got his graduation coming up next week. So like as we record that episode and it releases for people, he will have just actually graduated, which is a crazy thing to think about.
It's incredible.
If you want to buy him coffee or something, there's a Cash App link in the show notes. You can send him a little congratulations on graduation if you are in the mood. And after that, we will do a follow-up episode. We'll give your feedback and your proposals for what you think is coming in season 3. Mm-hmm. Then we'll do the episode where we're going to discuss Pride and Prejudice, starring Jennifer Ely from the 90s, Colin Firth too. I should mention him because we're all coming for the Colin Firth.
Oof, Lord, y'all. Lord, if you've not seen that man come out of a pond in a wet shirt, you have not lived.
How did you word it earlier? A firm, steady grip, something like that. Yeah. Anyway,
I would do unspeakable things to Colin Firth.
You gotta get a firm, steady grip on your Colin Firth.
You do.
And then, holy moly, we will be there, folks. The Vampire Lestat, just 4 weeks away at this point. Who can believe it? All right.
It felt like it was never going to come, and it's almost here.
Like it was never going to be here. And here, I mean, genuinely, Ashley, it was 2 years ago that they finished season 2 and teased us with him showing up to interview Danielle. And then now we're finally here. Anyway,
almost
thank
there,
you,
guys.
AMC. I'm glad you stuck with it.
We love you.
More, please. Give us more. Patrons, you stick around. We've got a great episode of Afterlife coming up, our patron-only segment where we're discussing Castle Rock on Hulu. And yeah, that show goes places, folks. We're in season 2. We're going to be talking about episode 3 tonight of season 2. If you're a Stephen King fan, as I know many of you are, go check out Castle Rock and join us for those segments over there. All right. Until we talk to you next week, we have been your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven.
Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.